My name is Keegan Smith, and I study environmental conservation and sustainability, and I had the absolute great pleasure of working at the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Northern New England this past summer. CCNNE is a franchise of the Coca-Cola Company, so it's not Big Coke, it's Small Coke, as we like to say. It's located in Bedford, New Hampshire, and most of the products that we bottle is locally made and filled right in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and we also employ about 1,000 employees in the Northeast. So although our mission is to mostly refresh, with our wide portfolio of beverages, environmental and social responsibility is heavily tied into our vision. So what we think at CCNE is if you include social responsibility and environmental responsibility, you add those together, you can build healthier communities in a thriving business environment. So take the Londonderry Production Center, for example. To be able to supply such a large market, this sits on 80 acres, it's 500,000 square feet, and it produces 25 million cases in 1 year. And that's so we can reach that large scale. We do business on a fairly large scale. And since we're a large company, we can have large impact. And we can do that through capital for donations and labor, our workforce who generously volunteers their time for a lot of events, and through logistics and infrastructure. So we like to say one small change with us can make a big difference. This is something that we like to talk about at our sustainability booth. I work with Ray and Mike a lot with that over this past summer. So the real things that we do at the LPC is we had a 23% more efficient energy use rate than the industry average. We recycled over 1 million pounds of production material in 1 year alone, and that constitutes for 93% of the LPC waste diversion rate. Over 18 years, our plastic pallets have saved roughly 300,000 oak trees. And we take water conservation very seriously because it is our main ingredient. So that being said, we have a 21% more efficient water use than the industry average, and that's already ahead of the Coca-Cola Company's water use ratio goal for 2020. So you take that, that's 15 million gallons a year in water savings. And since it's such a big deal to our company and to the community, I was really honored when Director of Capabilities Mike Elmer asked me to create this ad for a local magazine. Another cool thing that we do with our 55-gallon syrup barrels that get shipped in from the Coca-Cola Company is we typically recycle them into recycling barrels for events. You'll see them at NASCAR weekend and such. But we got this really neat idea from Vermont, and this is from a middle school. And what they did is they took our barrels and they made them into compost tumblers. And they use this as a fundraiser for their school, and it really makes a big impact on getting rid of our food waste. And thanks to Professor Ogden from the Intro to Sustainable Agriculture course, I was able to talk about how to compost and such and put that into this document. So if Professor Ogden's out there today, I owe you a Coke. Thank you. So PET. The absolute last place we want PET to end up is anywhere except for that recycling bin. I'll tell you why. Did you know that these plastic bottles can end up in Polartec fleece, which uses, Patagonia uses their fleece for their products worldwide, and same with the North Face? Foss Manufacturing makes the upper for this New Balance shoe called New Sky. And the Vermont Teddy Bear uses polyester stuffing from our recycled bottles and the teddy bears because germs hate polyester and they love cotton, so it's a good alternative. And all three of these companies are very local, and this is thousands and thousands of jobs just on the East Coast. But the biggest problem they have is volume. And that's either because we lack curbside recycling or single stream recycling, and that makes it easier for people like us, the consumers, to recycle, or because we're just too lazy. And if that's the case, then that's an absolute shame, because thousands and thousands of jobs, and we can divert more of this from going into the environment. One opportunity that was really special to me was about a month ago. As you guys know, if you live in the community, the Special Olympics, the State Special Olympics was held here at UNH. And I was given the opportunity to set up refreshment stations using donated product, or Sunny water bottles, to refresh the athletes, keep them hydrated during that really hot weekend. And throughout that weekend, CCNE employees volunteered their time, and they even brought their families. They look forward to it every year to donate their time and really see the smiles on their faces. It's an excellent opportunity. But CCNE can impact the Coke company on a social scale. And I'll tell you why. Adam Hill right here, he's a UNH alum, and he also interned at CCNNE like myself, but he was really interested in social innovation. So what he did was he partnered up with Southern New Hampshire University, Sodexo, who supplies the food for them, CCNNE, and DECA. And each of these companies each donated 2 cents apiece to go towards a slingshot machine to a community that needed it. And what this does is you can stick a hose into any dirty water supply. And it takes that water, it evaporates it and condenses it into 250 gallons of potable water per day. And it uses the same power as a hairdryer. So imagine if we can clean all the world's water supply and communities that need it. It's a wonderful opportunity. One thing that I really admire about CCNNE is their commitment to disaster relief. It's not just the monetary and the product donations, but it's also the commitment that the employees commit to giving back to the community. In Colchester, Vermont, during Hurricane Irene, they got together in the distribution center and they assembled these blizzard boxes. And what these blizzard boxes were donated food, and they would use our infrastructure and logistics with our fleet and ship it to the elderly who couldn't go outside or were stuck in their homes during this unfortunate event. So again, using our capital, using our large scale, using our infrastructure and logistics and our workforce, one small change can lead to one big difference. Thank you.